All right, guys. What is going on? Welcome back. We are live. Everything looks to be going good here. Happy Thursday. Hope everyone is doing well. Okay. Haven't streamed in a while, but I think that's going to change. I'm really looking forward to it. So, if you've seen the title today of today's video, I can't even see it. Where is it? Anyways, something about developing our avatar so we can figure out how we're going to build this business into $1 million company. Now, it's it's been quite a journey on this live stream because we first started because we wanted to build a web design company, web development company. And now here we are talking about podcasting and podcast studios. So we've pivoted quite a bit, I would say, in the past couple of years, but I think it's for the better. Well, actually, I know it's for the better because I'm so much happier in the work that I'm doing and when I'm doing. And yeah, it's just when you're doing work and you feel that you wake up in the morning and we got the thumbs up. Thanks. I think let me see if my comments are working. Yeah, my comments are working. Perfect. That's a thumbs up that all the audio is going good. If I get back to live streaming every day, I won't have these issues of forgetting how to make sure everything's working okay. Anyways, what was I saying? When you wake up in the morning and you're excited about the work that you're doing or that you really kind of enjoy the work that you're doing, it just makes the stuff that you do that much. It just makes everything better, and it just makes it easier to be able to do the things that you need to do in order to get to where you want to be. So that's what we're going to work on today, and we're going to let's I think a good place for me to start here, actually, let me just share the screen here. And oh, hang on, I think I'm in the way here. Let me move myself out of the way. And I want to talk a little bit about what I've been working on in order to get everything organized so that we can go forth and really start building this business. And I think a good thing that I should maybe touch base on is that since I've started this studio business and we opened up the studio for booking guests, I can't even remember when exactly that was, but it hasn't even been a year. Anyways, the what I've been doing over the past year is really just trying to figure out how the flow is going to go from the moment a customer sees my website and then like books a time to come to the studio to record their content to the all the way to the end where they get their final product and they have the deliverables or whatever it is, the whole experience. I've been trying to figure out how to make that thing as smooth as possible and as great of an experience as possible for the clients. And I feel like for the past 6 months, 8 months, or however long it's been, that I finally really nailed down that whole aspect of the business. And now it's time to take it to the next level by actually letting people know that this is a business that is running. And I say that because as it stands right now, I've done absolutely zero marketing on the actual studio business, save for a few posts I've made on LinkedIn to just say, hey, look at these, awesome people that have been to the studio to do some really cool stuff. So other than that, I have done no marketing to get people to get into the studio. And if you see some of my past live streams, that even though I haven't done that, business has still been really good because people are coming to the studio and they're seeing the value and it's helping them solve their pain points, which we're going to talk about here in a minute. So I just wanted to give a little bit of an overview as to kind of where my thought process is right now. Is that we we opened up the studio thinking, okay, let's validate this. Let's see if people are actually interested in it. People are interested in it. We are making some really good money. And okay, now it's time to crank it up to 100 to really see what we could turn this business into in order to help me support my goals and my ambitions into what I want to do in other aspects of my life outside of running a studio business, which, as you all know, is I want to have a podcast that's going to be one of the top podcasts in Canada. So in order to get there, I need to have some money to do that, and the studio business is the way to do it. So that's what that's kind of the mindset in terms of what I'm trying to do here with this business. Okay, so all that being said, I've spent a whole lot of time organizing every single process that we do within the business in order to make things as streamlined as possible, so that when people come on to um, like work with me on the studio, whenever I hire people, they're going to be able to go into this wiki and be able to see the process for basically everything. So, not I don't know, not basically everything, but for most things. So we obviously have the mission and vision here at the start, and then I just have this stuff of what we're working on to become the best. So there's just some issues of things that I know that could be better because I'm always wanting to improve the customer service and the customer flow. Like I want every single touch point for the person to be like, this is the best experience I've ever had filming content like in my life, bar none. That's the experience I want to give every single person that comes into the studio. Let me make this a little bit bigger if I can. I don't want to do that. Let me just up that level. Okay, I think that's a little bit bigger. Okay. So, and then we just have some guides, right? Like how to onboard a new customer, how to invite someone to be a guest, how we just onboard everything, how we distribute their episodes. This is actually unconventional mindset. So, but there's very similar things in terms of how we work with customers who were actually editing their content as well too. Just general studio operations. So a bunch of how-to guides and information about the company, the pricing that I just kind of launched over for the first quarter of 2026 and probably for the next few months, I would imagine. And then a bunch of templates about how to email people depending on where they are as a customer or as a podcast guest, and some post-production things and some stuff to do with the videos. So, and this is of course an ever-growing list, but I just want to highlight the work that I've done over the past couple months to really organize everything so that way everything is written down, all my processes are written down, so that way when hopefully we start really promoting and marketing this business, that we get so busy that we're not going to have time to figure out writing down all these processes or whatever because we're going to be too busy delivering results for our clients. So I think what would be a good thing to do, let's go real quick. Let's dive into this. We've talked about this many, many times, but just a quick overview, especially if you haven't seen any of my live streams before. So talk about the why in terms of what I do, why I do what I do. And really my goal in life is to be able to inspire people to become the best versions of themselves. There's lots of things that I want to do in my life to better my life and to live the best life that I can. And I hope to do the same with other people. One of the reasons why I live stream as well, because I want to showcase all the work that goes into what it's like to take a business from zero to being financially stable. And if I could do it, you could do it as well too. And then I talk about the what, and well, how do I want to do that? So I have my podcast that I want to become the #1 podcast in Canada. I want to grow this YouTube channel as well. And I want to talk about all the things that I'm doing in order to improve my life. And then I want to grow Pixel into $1 million plus annual revenue business, which is going to help feed kind of everything else that I want to do as well. So that's just kind of the why. And then I want to break down the 2026 goals because I think this is going to be critical to understand why we're focusing on the studio right now. Well, I mean, I don't know if it's critical to understand the studio, but let's just dive into the goals that I have for the studio. And I really put aside the podcast goals specifically right now. And the reason for that is that, yes, I do want my podcast to be the best. And the problem with that is I don't know how long that's going to take. Obviously, I have it in my mind that I wanted to do it in 2 years. So it's like 1.5 years now. But there's no guarantee that it'll get there, even if I put all my heart and soul into it, working every single, waking minute of every single day on it. There's no guarantee that it's going to get to where it needs to be in order to be able to put food on the table for my family. So there's, I guess, a little bit of a practical consideration there. And I know there's people on YouTube, whatever, was like, I had to do it or else I was going to die if I didn't get it done. It's like, okay, sure. But I mean, I need to be practical and I have to put food on the table. I have a family to take care of. So we need to make money. And that studio is the avenue to make money. And the studio and the podcast, they obviously go hand in hand. So that's why in 2026, right now, I really want to focus my energy on building out that part of the business, which is going to help pave the way for me to do what I want to do with the podcast as well. It's almost thinking of as in Pixel Studios will be the sponsor of Unconventional Mindset, because it's going to be generating the revenue that's going to allow me to be able to create the podcast that I want to create, get the guests that I want to have on. And then it's almost like a feedback loop where growing that podcast is going to have more people come into the studio as well too. So it's a self-sustaining loop in a sense. Because to be honest, a lot of the customers that I have currently on the studio are all because of having the podcast. So it's even though the podcast itself hasn't made a dime in terms of AdSense or sponsorships or any kind of revenue that way, but it's made a whole bunch of revenue and opportunities on the studio side. So that's why if we look at my goals here, 2026 goals, reach $10,000 in monthly recurring revenue. So that's goal number one. Got to get there. And I love the recurring revenue model. And it's something that's, well, I guess we could talk about the pricing that I just put forth in just recently here on the studio. But being able to know how much money you're going to be bringing in on a month-to-month basis, roughly, is really good for the peace of mind, I guess you can say, right? Once you have a whole bunch of cash in the bank, then I guess it doesn't really matter so much, which is why I have goal number 2 is I want to have $100,000 cash in the bank account. So I'm going to work on those two kind of simultaneously because, they're all kind of one and the same. And it's kind of funny because right now we're actually almost, I think we're at like 45% of the way of reaching $10,000 in monthly revenue. Because right now the business is at about 45, I can't remember exactly, but 4,500 in monthly recurring revenue, which is fantastic, right? But then we need to get more clients or whatever to put some more cash in the bank. So that's what we're working on. And then the third piece is something that I don't know when I'm going to start talking about this, but I have this grand vision in my mind of what I want my studio to look like, which is going to be just, I'm really looking for an industrial type of, I have commercial here. That's the wrong word. I wanted, think large industrial open space warehouse workshop where you have this huge open space and other rooms on the side or whatever, where you have multiple different stations that can be set up in order to basically create any type of YouTube studio content creation space you could ever possibly want in one location. So that's the idea that I'm thinking of. And we'll talk more about that when the time comes, but I really know what I want in my mind. And it's going to be a space where I'm going to be able to have my podcast, have people come over to the studio, do all kinds of crazy stuff, and have many different sets and looks. So people aren't going to have the problem of, oh, your set, everyone that comes to your studio looks the same because you have only one or two studios. This will solve that problem immensely. So I really have this amazing vision in my mind, and we'll get there. So the second goal is just this channel here. I have monetized the channel. It's really just getting to a certain level of viewers and followers and a certain level of traction. So I don't really care about monetizing this channel and making the AdSense revenue, any of that kind of crap. It's not really my, that's not my goal. So I could just reach 5,000 subs or whatever. But even the subs, I think we actually should probably change it to, you know what? Let's just change this right now because, this isn't, whoops. How do I just add something else here. Can we just, I want to go to number 2. Can I just continue the list? Okay. We really want to, because it's not just about numbers. It's not about views, like subscribers or views. I want to have a certain percentage of viewers leading to business. So I don't know how to say this, but driving a percentage of viewers to business objectives. I don't know exactly how to say this, but say we want to get $100,000 cash in the bank, right? So have it so that every video that I post when it's about studios or making content or whatever problems we're going to solving with our clients, we want them to, click here and work with Pixel Studios, right? And we'll help you. So it needs to drive certain business goals, right? And I don't know exactly how to frame that as like an objective, but we'll get there. Then it could be or drive certain revenue number. Whatever. Okay. And then the third goal has to do with unconventional mindset, but I don't really know what that's going to look like. So I have a few things that I have written down just for, just kind of vanity metrics of numbers. But in terms of what it's going to look like and how I'm going to get it to grow. I don't know what the goals should be just yet, other than maybe even just figuring out exactly kind of how you want to finalize what the podcast is going to be. And the reason I say finalize, I've had about 30 episodes now of the Unconventional Mindset podcast, and I think it's a good time to take a look at what's working, what is not working as well, and figuring out kind of what people are going to want to see and how I'm going to want to produce these podcasts going forward to give the best value based on who's watching my podcast and what kind of information they would want from it in order for them to get like actionable insights into, making their life better or achieving their business goals or whatever the case may be. So yeah, so that's it. So what we're going to do now is I think we're just going to let's just make a page here. And we're going to call this, so this is all going to be in real time because I'm not exactly sure, like this whole customer avatar, like what it's exactly what's going to be inside here. But okay. Customer avatar. I don't even know what to call it. Let's just call it customer avatar for now. And then I guess we can go from there. Let's see. We could maybe even just like our ideal customer avatar. Okay, so is there a customer? I don't know what we can say here. Oh geez, I don't know. It's maybe smiley face. And let's throw in a cover. Where are we? All right. Okay, it's just going to show people. Oh boy. I don't know. All right, let's just pick some balloons. Okay. So one of the things that I think are really important to understand is like the pain points. So the pain points. Let's say we're hearing. So we can start from there. And there's basically two things that I've been hearing. And the reason, let's back up a quick second here. The reason why I want to just kind of put a little bit of thought into this whole customer avatar is because it's going to help us figure out what the messaging is going to be on the website. Because right now it's just generic stuff about Podcast Studio. And I think we really want to speak more towards what our customers are feeling, right? Like what is the problem, right? Like tired of waking up, being alone, try this new dating product. You know what I mean? Like whatever that problem is, we need to highlight it here on the website. And just understanding our customer and what pain point we're trying to hit is going to help us really figure out how to structure the messaging around it. And also, I think maybe it's a good idea to maybe take a quick look at the products that we have and the types of people. You can get an idea for the types of people that I'm thinking of trying to target to. So right now, there's basically 4 different ways that you can work with Pixel right now. And I almost hate that because I feel like it's too complicated and confusing. So we're going to have to see if we can figure out how to maybe simplify this messaging. But there's 4 ways. So the first way is to just book the studio for a single day. So you come to the website, you want to book for 2 hours, 3 hours, 1.5 hours, what have you. You just click here, you book, and then that's it, right? Very simple stuff. And there's a few information here on, what you get with that. And then there's the membership. And this is where the monthly recurring revenue comes into play. And this is where I want to really focus on helping my customers with their problems. And, I want to go beyond, hey, this is just a studio where you can shoot your podcast. And yes, you could be a studio where we can help you be like podcast producers where we can help the whole creation process. But I want to go a little bit of a different angle and different approach where it's more about helping them generate content and having that content be able to meet their business objectives and business goals. So if someone comes in and says, I want to have a podcast and they want to hire us to make a podcast, cool. But like, why do you want to make that podcast in the first place? And I think that's where we can differentiate ourselves from the competition, because it's not just about getting a podcast for the sake of getting a podcast. Is that podcast going to be the right thing in order for you to drive your business objectives or to meet your business objectives, right? Like, because at the end of the day, I think one of the reasons why someone will start a podcast is because they want to get themselves out there either as an expert or just creating content. So there's more touch points on who they are and what they do. And ultimately they want people to contact them so that they can do business and get more business, right? So is a podcast going to be the best way for people to do that? Or are there other ways of creating content which might be more conducive to helping them meet their goals? So those are the types of questions that I'd like to ask my clients and my potential clients to be able to figure out what's going to be the best system for them in terms of how to generate content. And then there's also the avenue of, well, who's going to be creating that content, or those like the ideas that'll drive the content, right? Like if someone's going to want a podcast, like who's going to do the show flows? Who's going to do like the episode guides? What we're going to talk about? Is it for the clients or is it on us as Pixel Studio? So those are even other questions. But table that aside, let's get back to the memberships and the whole thing about it is creating content. So studio memberships and subscription services memberships. We have one where it's basically like a done for you, or no, sorry, it's not done for you. It's like self-serve. I don't know what it's called. It's just whatever, self-serve. So you come to the studio on a consistent basis, whatever makes sense for you, however many hours you want to get per month, and you just join as a member. So you come in and you get a dedicated calendar where you can book your studio time. You come in, record, take the content home with you, and you have your own team or whatever that do all the editing and all that kind of stuff. So you really just want to have the space to be able to create. And the second part of that is you come in for the studio to record the content, but you also need a team to help you edit and put all of that stuff together. So that's where we have the Studio Plus editing membership here on the right side, I think, if you're looking on the screen. And that starts at $5,000 a month. So there's two different ways of doing it, but it's just really creating all the content you want, whether it's a podcast, whether it's, just social media content, YouTube videos, educational videos, whatever it is that you want to create. We have a membership package that should be able to meet your needs. And again, the one thing that's not on here that I'm not sure exactly how to do this, and this is maybe something that we can figure out once we do our customer profiles and their pain points, is there going to be a need for a more of a premium feature where we hold the customer's hands through everything, right? They don't know how to create content. They don't know what to create, and they don't even know how to put things together in terms of a podcast show flow or a script for YouTube videos. They don't even know what videos to make. So, maybe it's just a whole turnkey where they come in here once a week, once a month, whatever cadence works for them. Everything's ready to go. We write the script, everything, and then away you go. I'm a little bit wary of that right now, to be honest, because number one, we'd have to understand what niche that they're in and make sure that's a good fit, that we understand it so we can figure out how to create that proper content. But then it's also the pathway of who's going to be the one who's going to be signing off on all the content and saying, okay, this is great for this month's work. So anyways, there's lots of logistical questions with that. But certainly not opposed to working for that, with that. But that would be an even higher price point. I think that would probably start at least $10K a month, I would think anyways. And then the fourth way, I mean, this is almost like this membership is almost one way, but I put it into two anyways, where the studio plus editing as well too. And the fourth way is to just buy a podcast season bundle, right? Like how many podcast, if you just want to do podcast episodes, you just want to come in and record and we'll do all the editing and what have you, then you could just purchase a podcast season bundle. And that's for us to do all the editing. So if you want to do, you want to do like 10 podcast episodes, but you don't want to do any of the editing or all that stuff, then you're just going to book your individual time, or you're just going to come in and do a membership because you're just going to come in on a weekly or monthly basis or whatever the case may be. So then the membership is going to be the way to go for that. So I don't really want to do a lot of these one-off type of people that just want I really want to work with clients that are really focused on figuring out how they could do long-term content creation in order to drive their business results. Like that's the clients that I want to work with. And I don't need to work with a whole lot of them in order to be able to reach this, the level that we want to reach to. So, right. So there we go. Those are the services that we have. So thinking about the customers that I've already talked to, and again, do feel free to, send me a message or whatever if you think there's other things that we need to consider. But here's what are pain points, not the paint points. Here are the things that I've heard from my customers about the pain points. So it's maybe I'll just put it into like what they're saying. So I have no idea how to operate any equipment. I don't even know if this should be one pain point or if it's multiple pain points. I have no idea how to operate any equipment. Just gonna put it into. So I don't have the knowledge or time to figure out how to make / build my own content studio. So I think the idea is it's like Pixel is a place where I can sit down, say what I need to say, and everything is done for me. Right? Like I don't have to worry about this. I don't need to worry about lighting. So like I don't know lighting, cameras, audio, like all the technical stuff. Right? So when you have this whole kind of idea is somebody knows they want to create content, and maybe the biggest pain point they've been feeling is it's always such a big friction in order to be like, oh, well, I got to set up a camera. How do I set it up? How am I going to even sound good? I don't like the way that I look. Where am I going to do this? How am I going to do this on a consistent basis? So it's almost like the person is either they're too busy or again, they're feeling overwhelmed by all the options and they don't know how to make themselves look and sound really great on camera. And then the messaging in that regards is, again, I don't know exactly how this is, but like, wanting to start content, but you don't know, you don't have any knowledge about what equipment to get, or you're feeling overwhelmed by all the options you have. That's really terrible. That's actually really bad. But it's going to be something along these lines of saying, I know you want to make content, but you don't know where to start. You're overwhelmed by all the options. You're feeling as if this could be another thing too. I don't know if people are feeling like how good quality is because it's also subjective, but you're feeling as if everyone's making great looking content except for you. Here's a place where you can come. You don't have to think about anything. We're going to make you feel comfortable. We're going to make you look good, and everything is going to be like like edited and taken care of for you. Unless you have your own team, of course. So other pain points too that I'm hearing, which is again another kind of ideal potential customer avatar uh, is I don't know how to be seed as the expert in my field. And another thing very similar to that one is I don't know how to create content that drives leads and sales. So that was a big thing. It's like, hey, we want to create content, but how the hell do we do that in a way that showcases our expertise? And then not only that, we want to use it, but we also want to make money from it. Like we want it to be able to drive business. So this one is a little bit interesting because like I'm that type of business guy. If you followed me along for any length of time, you've probably heard me say at one point is that I never want to advertise doing something that I've never done before, right? Where if I talk about, oh, I want to make $1 million, I'm not going to come here and be like, this is what you guys need to do because I've never made $1 million before. So what I'm doing here is I'm documenting the process of what I'm thinking is going to help me get to $1 million, right? And then maybe I could speak to it. And then even then, maybe only in a very specific niche. That being said, I don't think right now I'm at the point where like on my website, I can have something here that says, oh, do you want to 3x the amount of leads you get through your social media? Join Pixel and we'll get you that. Do you know what I mean? Or if it's something along the lines of, we'll help you like build up your expertise so that you will be the industry expert. So like in theory, I know what it is that I need to do. And this is what I'm going to be doing right now with my YouTube channel and building up. Like if we go back here, the goals to get to here is I want to do marketing, and I'm going to be documenting, number one, all the tactics that I'm going to be using in terms of the videos I'm going to make, how I'm going to use those videos, and how I'm going to take stuff that I've made with those videos to cut them up and repurpose them into different avenues to see how they work. We're going to do all that stuff here in real time. And then once I get to that point, then I know I'll be able to recreate that for other people. And I think I know there's a few people that I want to reach out to and say, hey, listen, this is the service that I'm going to want to offer, and it's going to cost, this amount of money per month. And again, this is to help with these pain points here. So I reach out to people a couple people, say, hey, listen, this is what I want to do, the service I want to do. Do you want to be a part of it for, give it a try for 3 months, 6 months, or whatever, and then give them like a really big discount or whatever the case may be. So that way I can get some social proof that I actually know what the hell it is that I'm doing, and then I can help you get to where you want to be, right? And I could put that on the website of like, hey, Pixel, like then the call to action, one of the things too, like I have your build an authority with a podcast that truly connects, right? So like, even if this is set here, even I'm looking at this now, it's like, okay, like I can make the podcast make you look professional, all that kind of stuff. And I guess that's what I'm saying here in terms of building your authority, right? But I can't guarantee to generate more leads right now other than what, I know that has worked for me, right? But so that's the kind of stuff that I'm trying to talk about, I guess you can say. is I want to get more social proof that I can actually convert on those things. And this stuff right here, like if you come here and you just want to record your content and you're happy with it and you got your own team, you got your own shit that your own processes, your own systems, that's fantastic. And you just want to come here and like that's a different problem that this studio membership is solving, right? And same with this editing. But there's a third bucket here, and maybe that's another thing in the future about the problem solve where it's I need to be the expert in my field. I feel like yeah, there's these are two completely different people. And we got to figure out yeah, it's like does it make sense to try like is that having two avatars at the start? I don't know. I need to go back and read some of Hormozy stuff to figure out what makes the most sense. Because I know, one product, one avatar, like one medium, right, to try to reach out to them. You could do that. If you nail that, you can get to your $1 million. And I believe that that makes a whole lot of sense. But is that different, right? Like on the website, if it's, oh, hey, place to record your content without having to worry about all the technical mumbo jumbo, blah, 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 whatever that content is. But do we do more? Like, do you know what I mean? Or is it tiered in a way? Like there's also I know Hormozy talks about this as well too, where it's here's your Grand Slam home run offer, the big ticket item, where it's like, yes, you record your content, then it's like plus, 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 right? So it's still kind of the same thing, but it's like, oh, here's an additional pain point that we might be able to solve. And that's the high ticket item of the whole done for you, everything. And then it's like, okay, well, then it's the next level down where it's like, okay, well, you have your team in place. You know what you want to say. It's your business. You're the expert. You just have a place where you can come in and create that content. And then we can help you edit it or not, depending on what you want. So that's maybe the tiers, I guess you can say. Yeah, it could be. So what are hmm. Mhm. And it's like, what problems are we solving? And these are things like I don't want to start guessing on things. These are things that I've heard from my clients. I'm trying to think now if there's what else anyone else has said. Um, hmm. Trying to think now. These are the two that come to mind because it's been mentioned multiple times by multiple people. Yeah. And I know another one too, along the same veins here. This is by being seen as an expert. It's kind of the same with number 4, but this is another thing that I've heard as well too is that I want to be seen as the go-to guy in this kind of space. But I also want to have a personal brand where people who know me, they know me as, oh, there's that guy that kind of shows up on social media or whatever that talks about XYZ. Right. And that's part of build. So it's not really so much of an expert. It is more of a brand building. I don't know. I think maybe those things could be blurred a little bit, um, but yeah, I really feel like we're kind of breaking things down really into two buckets. The technical stuff and I come, I record, and I leave. I know I'm going to look great. I don't have to worry about anything. So that's the one. And the second one is I like, I'm trying to think what they would say. It's like I go in there, we record content, and it helps me showcase to the world who I am as a person, and it's helping me. Um, yeah, it's like it's just putting myself out there, and it's building my brand in a way that I had never thought was possible. And then, of course, you tie it into business results or whatever too. It's helping me grow 3x in my business. Blah blah blah. So, and I think there may be, are they like the same avatar, but yet at different levels? I don't know. They could be because, I mean, the one that, like, think of the business owner that, they're already doing multiple, they're doing $5-10 million in revenue a year. And, they want to up their content game. So they already have a team in house. They got a social media person. They got a person that, because doing the editing and all that kind of stuff. And they just want to up their game in terms of how they look or whatever. And maybe they don't want to build a studio, whatever the case may be. So they'll come in here and then they'll get the studio and they'll work it that way. And that's great. But they want to solve that problem in their business, but I guess they already have that in-house, right? Because they already have the social media person. They already have the editing team. So they already have somebody that's putting together the content as well and figuring out what they're going to say or whatever. So they just come to the studio to record, but they're still using that content to fill that need of being seen as the expert or just using it to drive revenue by, filming ads and all that kind of stuff. Is there anything that I'm missing? I feel like this is pretty good. Yeah, I feel like it's pretty good. So there might be a few things to flesh out, but what I really want to do is I want to use that to help me figure out this messaging a little bit better, probably just kind of on the homepage here, because again, it's not so much about podcasting, but it's about creating content and building brands. Like it's like deliberate, like I don't know, not deliberate, intentional content. I don't know how you could say it, like intentional content creation that drives business results, whatever, right? I mean, that sounds really cheesy and corporate, and that's the last thing I want to sound like. But that's what we need to do. I know something that I've heard people is just like I don't feel confident in front of the camera. I've heard that too. It's like, I know I need to make content on video. They perform really well, but I really don't feel comfortable. Like help me with that. So, and this could be where, again, this could maybe drive some thoughts and ideas of what type of content I create on YouTube to help people get to the point where they're going to want to come into the studio to record content on a consistent basis, right? Number one, how do I feel comfortable? It's trying to figure out what these pain points are in order to figure out what type of content I can create as well too, right? So you do have, I mean, on that vein too, this is maybe, I could put this, I don't know if I could. Oop, oop. Like maybe these are things that are maybe more like assumptions that I'm thinking of what potentially could be pain points. So someone that just doesn't have the time to put together a show/podcast. So I've heard that before, where it's like I want to create a podcast, but I don't have the time. Like there, I think people underestimate. I think here, yeah, I can put this in. People underestimate like how much time it actually takes to produce a podcast. So what are other things that we can put in terms of problems that people might have when it comes to not wanting to create content? Okay, we got all the technical stuff out of the way. I mean, you could just talk about like results, right? Like, I'm not seeing results. So that's a little tough too because I don't know much I can help with that at this stage of the game. Because what does that mean, right? Like you just want views, you just want shares, you just like impressions, or do you want to tie it into actionable business results, right? Like driving a certain amount of leads, which I guess could be. And I think a lot of the times, and this is just my own personal thoughts and reflections on this, is that there's no use of tools out there in order to track how well your pieces of content are performing, right? Like how many leads has this video brought in, right? There's no call to actions, or the call to actions are not being tracked. So it's very difficult to see how well some of those things are working. So that's another thing to potentially consider. So we'll just say no tracking. That is being produced. Produced. Yeah. Victor, how's it going? Good to see you. Good to see you. Been a while. But have no fear. I will be showing up a lot more lately, as I do want to get back to regular daily live streams because it's just so much fun. So much fun. Especially now since we're going to be ramping up this business that we're building, which is super fun. Okay. So I'm trying to think, what other pain points my customers been saying? I mean, really, these are the big ones. All the tech stuff, personal branding, and of course, they want their content to be able to drive results because that's why they want content in the first place, because they wanna they want to grow their business, make more money. Yeah, I don't have anything else that I know for sure I can say. That's not me just making any kind of assumptions, which I don't want to do right now. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take these kind of pain points and I'm going to see if I can work in some content to just maybe update the homepage here a little bit, and maybe maybe see if there's anything else we need to do here in terms of how we talk about the studio. Like, I like this, a creative space. You could do all kinds of different stuff with it, who it's designed for. But again, it's not talking to the pain points, right? It's just saying it's just designed for this, right? People that have a story you want to tell. I mean, that's the pain point is not, I don't have a story to tell. That's not the pain point. I mean, it could be like, I don't know how to tell a story. Could be a pain point, right? It's just, I know it's maybe sounds a little silly, but it's just changing the language. It's just changing the language to get the people to feel like they're being understood, like their problems are being understood. Like a space to bring your vision to life. That is like a comfortable space. Yeah, I mean, we just need to do better at delivering the message. But what's so fantastic about this is that I've spent like no time really developing. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I spent some time developing this website, but in order of really giving thought to the messaging behind the content here, like it hasn't been very deliberate. And now we're going to really start to get deliberate in it and really start to market this thing. Because again, I've spent $0 and zero time on marketing, and we're making, I don't know if we made six figures yet on the studio, but we're going to get pretty close. And, I think we have so much potential here. But yeah, it's just really talking about like this membership. You want to try new things? You're just one person. It's hard to keep up with the technology. Pixel is built to jump right in and help you fill this gap. We're here to make your life easier, make your content reach more people, and best of all, make it a whole lot more fun to create. Yeah, so I started like this is a new section. So this kind of starts more along that path of, hey, you want to do all this stuff, but it's just you don't know how to do it, right? It's too hard. It's too hard to do. Let us just do it all for you so you can sit back, relax, and we'll take it all. So yeah, so we're gonna take all this stuff, we're gonna update the content here, and I don't know if we're gonna come up with any new pricing. I think the pricing is good for now. Again, the thought maybe if we do come up with another package, but I think that's not gonna be for the future, or that's not gonna be right now. I think we're gonna hold off, and that's this thing right here. You really want to build a personal brand? Let's talk, right? Because it's gonna be a kind of a custom thing right now, and we'll see how that's going to play out. I think that's the play for right now. And then what we're going to do is once we have this new website laid out, we're going to start creating all of our content. We're going to put together like a content, I don't know if it's going to be a content strategy or calendar, whatever the case may be. We're going to start making a whole bunch of content that's going to be able to, that we're going to use to promote the heck out of the studio. And then we're going to put processes in place like we would do for a customer of being able to track how our videos are doing, how they're flowing into either a newsletter or into studio bookings, all that kind of stuff. We're going to do all that. We're going to be here every day, bit by bit, working through this process together and figuring all this stuff out. So that if you're watching this and if you have a business that you're producing content for and you want to figure out how you can track everything to see if it's working, then, we can learn how to do that together, regardless of what your business is, whether it's studio or web design agency, whatever the case may be, right? So yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. So yeah, there's going to be behind the scenes stuff. Obviously, I'm going to do the next couple of days to get the website all kind of where we want it to go. And of course, it's never going to be a finished product, right? There's always going to be moving and growing and changing and all that kind of stuff. So lots of stuff for us to figure out. Okay, so yeah, I think we kind of covered everything. There's probably other stuff that I'm missing too with the ideal customer avatar. Like I said, I got some more reading. I got a few books here that I want to read and see if I can figure stuff out. But starting on Monday, we're gonna be back, like for sure, unless we'll get really busy with client stuff or whatever. And I don't know if I can stick to a regular time. I got to figure out what's gonna make the most sense. But we're going to be working on this every day because this is basically priority number one right now is the studio. So we're going to be live streaming every day because we're going to be working on this every day. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. So thank you so much for tuning in. And if you have any thoughts, if you're watching this in the future, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. And if you have any ideas on, things that I could do to move forward into marketing this business, or if you have any ideas on, if there's anything I missed in terms of what the customer avatar could be, what the pain points is that we're trying to solve, do let me know. Always appreciate that feedback. All right, guys, that's it for me. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for watching. And I'll be back here on Monday for a brand new stream. Until then, have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday.